Chief Engineer Newell wiped the sweat from his forehead as he looked through the massive observation window of Phoenix 7 repair station. The endless black of space stretched before him, dotted with countless stars. It was supposed to be another quiet day at the orbital repair facility, but the emergency alarm changed everything. Chief Engineer to the command center immediately. Station Director Yu Jin's voice came through the speakers. Her usually calm voice had an edge of urgency. Newell grabbed his tablet and rushed through the curved corridors of the station. Other crew members moved aside as he passed, knowing that an emergency call from the director meant serious business. The command center doors slid open with a soft hiss. Director Yu Jin stood at the main screen, her hands clasped behind her back. The screen showed a large ship approaching the station. Even from a distance, Newell could see the damage. The ship's hull had a massive tear along its side, and strange purple energy leaked from what looked like its engine section. "What kind of ship is that?" Newell asked, stepping closer to the screen. "It's a stellar-class vessel," Yu Jin replied, "but not one we've seen before. They're requesting emergency repairs. Their quantum drive is failing." Newell's eyes widened. Quantum drives were the most advanced technology in known space. Most human engineers weren't even allowed to look at them, let alone repair them. The aliens who created them had always refused to share the technology, claiming humans weren't ready. The damaged ship grew larger on the screen as it approached. Its design was beautiful, all smooth curves and shining metal, even with the damage. Newell could see escape pods ready to launch if the drive failed completely. "They say they tried to fix it themselves," Yu Jin continued, "but nothing's working. They chose our station because we were the closest." Newell moved to a different screen and started checking the sensor readings. The energy leaking from the ship matched nothing in their database, but something about the damage pattern looked familiar to him, like an old memory trying to surface. "Permission to take a closer look?" he asked. Yu Jin nodded. "Granted. But be careful. If that drive explodes, it could take out half the sector." Newell quickly gathered his tools and headed to the observation deck. Through the reinforced windows, he could now see the ship clearly as it was guided into the main repair bay. It was easily 3 times the size of the largest human vessel he'd ever worked on. As he studied the damage, his mind went back to his days working in the deep space mining stations. The tear pattern in the hull, it looked just like the damage caused by quantum crystal explosions in the mines. But that was impossible. Quantum crystals were simple Earth technology. How could they affect an advanced alien ship? The ship's main airlock connected to the station with a solid clunk. Newell watched as the alien crew emerged. Tall, elegant beings with shimmering skin. Their captain approached Director Yu Jin, who had come down to greet them. "This is a repair station," the alien captain asked, looking around at the human facility with barely hidden doubt. "We were told you could help, but we may surprise you," Yu Jin said firmly. "Chief Engineer Newell is one of the best in the sector." Newell stepped forward, his mind still racing with possibilities. Simple solutions sometimes worked best, even with advanced technology. Maybe, just maybe, human engineering could solve a problem that alien technology couldn't fix. "I think I might know what's wrong with your ship," he said, "but you'll have to trust me." The alien captain looked at him for a long moment, then at their dying ship. They didn't have much choice. "Very well," the captain said. "Show us what human engineers can do." Lead technician Jae-ho arrived at the repair bay within minutes of Newell's call. He carried his best scanning equipment, though he wondered if Earth technology could even read the advanced alien systems. The damaged ship towered over them, its purple energy leak creating strange shadows on the bay walls. "What do you think?" Newell asked, pointing to the torn hull. Jae-ho adjusted his scanner settings. "Never seen anything like it. But that pattern." He stopped and looked closer. "It reminds me of something." Deep space mining accidents. Newell finished the thought. Quantum crystal explosions. The alien captain, who had introduced himself as Do-Yin, stepped forward. He had lived among humans long enough to earn a Korean name, but his shimmering skin marked him as different. "Quantum crystals?" he asked. "That's primitive technology. Our ships don't use anything so basic." Hanul nodded respectfully. "Maybe not directly, but sometimes old technology can help us understand new problems." He turned to Jaiho. "Run a full spectrum scan. Focus on the tear patterns." Jaiho worked quickly, his fingers moving across his tablet. The scanner hummed as it passed over the damaged areas. Numbers and graphs filled the screen, most showing readings that made no sense. "This is useless," Du-Yin said, watching the process. "Your equipment can't possibly understand our quantum drive." "Maybe not the drive itself," Jaiho replied calmly, "still working. But we can understand the damage. Look here." He pointed to a pattern on his screen. "The tear isn't random. It's following a specific path, just like in the mining accidents." Hanul studied the data. The quantum drive isn't just leaking energy. It's creating micro-explosions along the hull, like tiny quantum crystal bursts. Do-Yin's expression changed from doubt to interest. "How is that possible?" "Your drive creates quantum fields," Hanul explained. "Maybe those fields are affecting the metal in your hull the same way our quantum crystals affected mine walls. Different technology, same basic problem." Jaiho continued scanning, moving toward the engine section. Suddenly, his equipment began beeping rapidly. "Chief, the energy readings are rising. The damage is spreading." Hanul turned to Du-Yin. "We need to shut down the drive completely. Right now." "Impossible," Du-Yin said firmly. "The drive core must maintain minimal power or it will destabilize. Even our engineers couldn't safely shut it down in this condition." "Then we do this the hard way," Hanul said. He touched his communicator. "Director Yu-Jin, I need emergency authorization to use the mining containment protocols." There was a pause before Yu-Jin's voice came through. "Those protocols haven't been tested on anything this advanced, Hanul." "No choice," Hanul replied. "If those micro-explosions continue, they'll tear the ship apart and take the station with it." "Granted," Yu-Jin said after another pause. "But be careful." Hanul turned to Jaiho. "Get the containment equipment from Storage Bay 3. The heavy-duty stuff we used in the asteroid mines." As Jaiho hurried away, Du-Yin stepped closer to Hanul. "You really think mining equipment can help an advanced ship?" Hanul looked up at the massive vessel, watching the purple energy pulse along its wounds. "Sometimes the oldest solutions work best. We just need to adapt them." He smiled slightly. "That's what human engineers are good at." The alien captain looked unconvinced, but nodded. "Very well. Show me how humans solve problems." Hanul was already planning the next steps. They would need to modify the containment field generators, adjust the power settings, and find a way to interface with the alien systems. It would be challenging, maybe impossible, but that had never stopped human engineers before. Systems specialist Meirui walked into a scene of controlled chaos. The repair bay buzzed with activity as engineers moved heavy mining equipment into place around the damaged alien ship. The purple energy leaking from the vessel cast an eerie glow over everything. "You called for scanning help?" she asked Hanul, who was studying readings on 3 different tablets. "We need your expertise," he replied, handing her one of the tablets. "The regular scanners can't make sense of the alien technology, but you're the best at making equipment work in new ways." Meirui looked at the readings and frowned. The numbers didn't match anything she had seen before. The quantum drive's energy signature kept changing, making it impossible to get a clear reading. "The containment fields aren't working," Jaiho reported from his position near the ship. "The energy just passes through them like they're not even there." Du-Yin, the alien captain, watched from nearby. "I told you your primitive equipment wouldn't work. Perhaps now you'll listen and let us handle this ourselves." "With respect, Captain." Mei Ray said, still studying the readings. Your own repairs haven't worked either. Maybe we need to try something completely new. She turned to Hainul. What if we combine technologies? Hainul's eyes lit up. What are you thinking? Mei Ray walked closer to the ship, careful to avoid the areas where the energy leaked most strongly. Their quantum drive operates on principles we don't understand, but the damage it's causing follows patterns we do understand. She pointed to the mining equipment. What if we modify our scanners to work with their systems instead of trying to understand them? That's impossible, Du Yin said. Our systems are too advanced to interface with yours. Maybe that's the problem, Mei Ray replied. Sometimes simpler is better. She connected her tablet to one of the scanning units. We don't need to understand everything. We just need to see the pattern. She began reprogramming the scanner, changing its basic operating principles. Instead of trying to analyze the alien technology directly, she set it to track the energy's effects on the surrounding space. Look at this, she called after several minutes. The screen showed a clear pattern now, waves of energy flowing from the drive, creating tiny distortions in space itself. Hainul studied the pattern. It's like ripples in water. The drive isn't just leaking energy. It's creating waves that are tearing the hull apart. Exactly, Mei Ray said. And if we can see the pattern, we can counter it, Jai-Ho finished, catching on to her idea. They worked quickly, adjusting the mining containment fields to match the energy waves. The fields still couldn't stop the energy completely, but they could guide it, like channels controlling a flow of water. The hull damage is slowing, Jai-Ho reported, checking his instruments. But the drive is still unstable. We need to do more. Du Yin stepped forward, looking at Mei Ray's modified scanner with new interest. Perhaps we could share some basic information about our drive systems, if it would help you understand the pattern better. Mei Ray smiled. That would be very helpful, Captain. We don't need to know how it works, just how it flows. Hainul watched as the alien captain began explaining their systems to Mei Ray. Human ingenuity had earned their first small victory, not through advanced technology, but through clever thinking and a willingness to try new approaches. But they all knew this was just the beginning. The drive was still dangerous, and they needed to find a permanent solution before it was too late. The repair bay of Phoenix 7 had become a place of intense focus. Jai-Ho stood at his workstation, studying the latest test results. The modified containment fields were helping, but they needed something more. The quantum drive's energy was still threatening to break free. The hull breach is getting worse, Hainul said, pointing to a section of the alien ship. We need a way to seal it permanently. Mei Ray looked up from her modified scanner. The energy waves are changing the metal itself. Normal repairs won't hold. Du Yin had been watching the humans work. Over the past few hours, his doubt had slowly changed to curiosity. Our standard repair methods have failed because the quantum energy prevents proper molecular bonding, he explained. Jai-Ho stopped his work and turned around quickly. Molecular bonding, he said quietly. Then louder. That's it. We've been thinking about this wrong. Hainul walked over to Jai-Ho's station. What do you mean? We use molecular welding in the deep mines, Jai-Ho explained, pulling up old technical files on his screen. When normal repairs won't hold because of quantum crystal interference, we change the metal structure first, then weld it. Mei Ray moved closer, looking at the files. Could we adapt that for the ship's hull? It's too primitive, Du Yin started to say, but then stopped himself. Though perhaps that is exactly why it might work. Our repair methods are designed for perfect conditions. They cannot handle this level of quantum interference. Hainul was already moving. Jai-Ho, get the molecular welding equipment from Storage Bay 5. Mei Ray, we need your scanner to guide the process. He turned to Du Yin. Captain, we'll need information about your hull's normal molecular structure. The team worked quickly. Jai-Ho retrieved the welding equipment, heavy machines that looked old and basic compared to the sleek alien ship. Mei Ray adjusted her scanners to map the damaged areas in detail. Du Yen provided the specifications they needed. "We'll test it on a small section first," Hainul said, positioning the welding equipment. Mei Ray watched the energy patterns. Jae-ho, monitor the molecular changes. "Captain, please tell us if anything looks wrong." The welding beam activated, glowing bright blue. Where it touched the alien hull, the metal began to change. Mei Ray's scanner showed the quantum energy patterns shifting, trying to interfere with the process. "It's working," Jae-ho said, excitement in his voice. "The molecular structure is stabilizing." Do-yin leaned forward, studying the repair area closely. "Remarkable. The quantum interference is actually helping the process now, strengthening the bond instead of breaking it." "That's the key," Hainul said, smiling. "We're not fighting the quantum energy. We're using it." The test area held firm. The purple energy leak stopped completely where they had made the repair. It wasn't pretty. The repaired section looked rough compared to the ship's smooth surface, but it was strong. "We can do this," Hainul said confidently. "We can save your ship." He looked at his team. "Mei Ray, start mapping the repair sequence. Jae-ho, we'll need all the welding units we have. Captain, please tell your crew to prepare for full repairs." Do-yin nodded, real respect now showing in his expression. "You have proven me wrong, Chief Engineer. Sometimes the simplest solutions are the best ones." The repair bay filled with new energy, not the dangerous quantum emissions, but the excitement of people who had found a way forward. They had much work ahead, but they had found their answer. Human engineering, with its focus on practical solutions, had succeeded where advanced technology had failed. Emergency Specialist Tai Yang rushed into the repair bay as red warning lights flashed throughout Phoenix 7 station. The molecular welding repairs had been going well for the past hour, but something had changed. The alien ship's quantum drive was pulsing with increasingly bright purple energy. "Status report," he called out as he approached Hainul and the team. "The drive is destabilizing," Mei Ray answered, her eyes fixed on her scanner. "The energy patterns are becoming chaotic. Our containment fields can't keep up." Jae-ho worked frantically at the welding controls. "The repairs we completed are holding, but the quantum interference is getting stronger. It's affecting our equipment now." Do-yin's shimmering skin had become pale with concern. "The drive's core temperature is rising. If it reaches critical levels," he didn't need to finish the sentence. Everyone knew what a quantum drive explosion would do to the station and everything nearby. Tai Yang moved quickly to the emergency control panel. "We need to evacuate the repair bay. Standard safety protocols." "No time," Hainul interrupted. "If we leave now, we lose the ship and possibly the station." He turned to Tai Yang. "We need your emergency containment expertise. Can we adapt the station's main shields?" Tai Yang studied the readings. The situation was bad, but he was trained for this. The main shields weren't designed for quantum energy, but he paused, thinking quickly. If we combine them with the mining containment fields, we might be able to create a double barrier. A loud cracking sound echoed through the bay. A new tear had appeared in the ship's hull, purple energy streaming out like water from a broken dam. Everyone moved back. Tai Yang ordered. He began typing commands into the emergency console. The station's powerful shields hummed to life, creating a blue energy barrier around the alien vessel. Mei Ray adjusted her scanner settings. "The quantum energy is reacting to the shields. It's different from before." "Different how?" Hainul asked, moving to look at her readings. "The shield frequency," she said, excitement in her voice. "It's forcing the energy to stabilize, like putting a cup over a candle flame." Tai Yang understood immediately. "We can use the shields to press the energy back into the drive. Create a controlled environment for the repairs." Do-yin stepped forward. "Our drive technology is classified, but..." He made a quick decision. "I can give you the drive's resonance frequency, if you match your shields to it. We can help the drive stabilize itself. Newell finished. He looked at his team. Tai Yang, adjust the shield frequency to match the drive. Mei Ray, monitor the energy patterns. Jiho, be ready to continue repairs the moment the field stabilizes. They worked together smoothly, each person focused on their task. Tai Yang's fingers flew over the controls, fine-tuning the shields based on Du Yan's information. The purple energy slowly began to pulse in rhythm with the blue shield barrier. It's working, Mei Ray reported. The quantum interference is falling back into normal patterns. The emergency lights stopped flashing. The new tear in the hull had stopped growing. They weren't safe yet, but they had prevented disaster through quick thinking and teamwork. Newell took a deep breath. Good work, everyone. But we're not done. Now we need to finish the repairs before anything else goes wrong. He looked at Tai Yang. Can you maintain the shield configuration? Tai Yang nodded. As long as we need. But let's not take too long. I don't want to find out what happens if the drive decides to destabilize again. With Tai Yang's shield configuration holding steady, the repair bay of Phoenix 7 became a center of careful but intense activity. Newell gathered his team around a workstation to plan their next steps. The alien ship's quantum drive had stabilized, but they needed a permanent solution. The molecular welding worked on the hull, Jiho said, showing the successful repair areas on his screen. But we need to fix the drive itself, or this will happen again. Mei Ray studied her scanner readings. The quantum energy patterns now flowed in steady waves, contained by Tai Yang's modified shields. The drive's core is still damaged, she said, but now we can see exactly where the problems are. Du Yan looked at the readings with growing interest. These patterns, they remind me of something. He moved closer to Mei Ray's screen. They're similar to the maintenance cycles our drives usually perform. Newell's eyes lit up. What if we help the drive repair itself? He turned to his team. Mei Ray, can you use your scanner modifications to guide the energy flow? Jiho will need to adjust the welding equipment to work at a quantum level. That's impossible, Du Yan said, but his voice held more curiosity than doubt now. The quantum mechanisms are too complex for your equipment to affect. Maybe we don't need to affect them directly, Mei Ray suggested. She adjusted her scanner settings. Look at this. The drive wants to fix itself. It's trying to run its maintenance cycle, but the damage is blocking it. Jiho moved to his welding controls. If we create safe channels in the damaged areas, the drive can heal itself through those channels, Newell finished. He looked at Du Yan, like giving a river a new path to flow through when its old one is blocked. Du Yan considered this for a moment, then nodded. Our drives do have self-repair capabilities, but they need stable conditions to work. He looked at Tai Yang, who was still maintaining the shield configuration, which you've provided. The team worked together with new purpose. Mei Ray used her scanner to map the energy flows, showing where the drive's self-repair systems needed help. Jiho modified the welding equipment to create quantum-safe channels in the damaged areas. Tai Yang adjusted the shields to guide the energy flows. Newell watched his team work, pride showing on his face. They were using human technology in ways it was never designed for, solving problems that even advanced alien engineers hadn't considered. It wasn't about having the most advanced tools. It was about understanding basic principles and finding creative ways to apply them. The drive's energy output is stabilizing, Mei Ray reported after an hour of careful work. The self-repair functions are running properly now. Du Yan checked his own instruments and looked surprised. The drive efficiency is actually improving. The maintenance cycle is doing more than just repairs. Sometimes you have to step back and let things fix themselves, Newell said. We just needed to create the right conditions. The purple energy flowing from the drive had changed color, becoming a steady blue that matched the station's shields. The ship's hull gleamed where they had repaired it, different from its original smooth surface, but stronger than before. Human engineering had proved itself again, not through overwhelming technology, but through understanding, adaptation, and the willingness to try new approaches to old problems. As Hanuel watched his team continue their work, he knew they had done more than just fix a ship. They had shown that humanity's greatest strength was not in their tools, but in how they used them. Station Director Yu Jin stood in the repair bay, examining the final test results on her tablet. The alien ship's quantum drive hummed with a steady, healthy blue glow. All emergency warnings had ceased, and the station's systems showed normal readings across all monitors. The drive is operating at 105% efficiency, Du Yen reported, his voice carrying a note of amazement. That's better than factory specifications. Hanuel and his team stood nearby, tired but proud. The past 12 hours had pushed their skills to the limit, but they had succeeded. The combination of Mi-Ray's modified scanners, Jiaho's adapted welding techniques, and Ta Yang's shield configurations had not only repaired the ship but improved it. We should document this repair method, Yu Jin said, looking at Hanuel. Other stations will need to know how to handle similar emergencies. Do Yen stepped forward. My superiors will want to know about this as well. We've always believed our technology was too advanced for other species to work with. We were wrong. Mi-Ray was still monitoring her scanner readings. The quantum energy patterns have stabilized completely. The drive's self-repair systems are working perfectly through the channels we created. And the hull repairs? Yu Jin asked, looking at the sections where they had used the molecular welding technique. Jiaho checked his readings. Stronger than before. The quantum interference actually helped create a better molecular bond once we found the right frequency. Tai Yang had finally powered down the emergency shields after confirming they were no longer needed. The station's systems have adapted to the new configurations we developed. We can replicate this procedure if needed. Yu Jin nodded, pleased with the results. Chief Engineer Hanuel, please prepare a full report. I want every detail of how your team solved this problem. There's something else, Du Yen said. He looked slightly uncomfortable. My government has always restricted access to our quantum drive technology. But after seeing what your team accomplished, he paused, choosing his words carefully. I will recommend that we establish a formal engineering exchange program with human repair facilities. The announcement surprised everyone. Hanuel spoke first. We would welcome the opportunity to learn from each other. Indeed, Du Yen agreed. Your approach to problems is unique. You don't just rely on advanced technology. You understand basic principles and find new ways to apply them. This could benefit both our species. Yu Jin smiled. We would be honored to participate in such an exchange. She turned to her team. You've done more than fix a ship today. You've opened a door for cooperation between our peoples. Mi-Ray, Jiaho, and Tai Yang began shutting down their equipment, talking excitedly about the possibilities this new partnership could bring. Hanuel watched them with satisfaction. Human engineering had proved its worth not through overwhelming technology, but through understanding, adaptation, and creative thinking. One more thing, Du Yen added. I've already sent a message to our other ships in this sector. I'm recommending they use your facility for any future repairs they need. Yu Jin looked pleased. Phoenix 7 will be ready to help, though hopefully with less excitement next time. The repair bay, which hours ago had been a scene of crisis, now felt different. It had become a place where two civilizations had found common ground through the universal language of engineering and problem-solving. 3 months after the quantum drive incident, Phoenix 7 repair station had changed significantly. The repair bay that once handled routine maintenance now hosted ships from various advanced civilizations. Chief Engineer Hanuel stood at his familiar spot by the observation window, watching as another alien vessel docked at the station. That's the fourth quantum-powered ship this week, Mi-Ray said, joining him at the window. Her scanner equipment, once modified for emergency use, had evolved into standard tools for the station. Other repair facilities had already started copying her designs. Director Yu Jin's voice came through the station's communication system. Chief Engineer to Bay 3, please. Our new guests are asking for you specifically. Newell smiled as he headed to the bay. The station's reputation had grown rapidly after Du Yen's report spread through the alien networks. Ships now traveled extra distances just to have their repairs done by the human engineering team. Jai-Ho was already in Bay 3, preparing the upgraded molecular welding equipment. The original mining tools had been refined based on their experience, creating a perfect blend of human practical engineering and alien technical knowledge. The ship's captain has read about our quantum drive repair, Jai-Ho reported as Newell arrived. They want us to perform a complete maintenance check on their systems. Tai Yang, who had been promoted to head of emergency operations, joined them with his tablet. The emergency protocols he had developed during the crisis had become standard procedure across human space stations. The shield modifications are ready if we need them, he said, though these days it's more for maintenance than emergencies. The alien ship's captain, like many before, seemed surprised to see the relatively simple human tools, but no one doubted Phoenix 7's capabilities anymore. The station's success rate spoke for itself. We'd received the engineering exchange students, Yu Jin announced, walking into the bay. The program Du Yen had proposed had grown beyond their expectations. Now, engineers from various species came to learn the human approach to problem solving. How are they adapting to our methods? Newell asked. Better than expected, Yu Jin replied. They're fascinated by how we combine basic principles with advanced technology. Several have already suggested improvements to their own repair procedures. The repair bay had become more than just a facility for fixing ships. It was a place where different approaches to engineering came together, where advanced technology met practical solutions, and where species learned from each other. Mei Rei's scanner beeped, drawing everyone's attention. The new ship's quantum drive is showing signs of wear, she reported. Nothing serious, but we can improve its efficiency using our maintenance procedures. Newell nodded. Let's show them what human engineering can do. He turned to his team, seeing the same pride in their eyes that he felt. They had proven that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in having the most advanced technology, but in understanding fundamental principles and finding creative ways to apply them. As the team began their work, Newell thought about how far they had come. What had started as an emergency repair had led to a revolution in interstellar engineering. Phoenix 7 had become a symbol of human ingenuity and adaptability. The station's original motto now carried new meaning. Any ship, any problem, any time. Human engineers had earned their place among the stars not through overwhelming technology, but through understanding, innovation, and the willingness to face any challenge with creativity and determination.